Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Path of Exile in glorious 1080p with graphics all turned up all the way. Hopefully this time without any audio recording problems. This is round 3 of attempting to record some commentary for this. The current theory is that Windows 7 does not actually have USB 3.0 drivers included, or that it detects or installs on its own, and they were missing, so it was screwing up and the microphone input would work for a few seconds and then would just kaput, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Not gonna do anymore. It seems okay so far, so hopefully it's actually fixed. But I did a quick channel update video, just kind of saying that there might be a delay of a day or two while I get everything reinstalled, set up, yada yada. And during it, I found a jade chopper axe, which is the right item in the inventory. I also need a whole bunch of more stash space. It's terrible. I also just need to really go through and clean up. But anyway, that aside, I'm doing some stuff. I'm gonna play around with the enchantments on the axe momentarily. It had some crappy roll. I decided for the hell of it that I would go ahead and this is actually where I was starting the episode the first time, at which point my audio had already cut out and I didn't realize it. And now I'm sitting here, it's like I have the audio waveform across the bottom of the screen, so the second it cuts out, I know it's going to cut out. But I'm rambling on right now about how, going back 2-3 months, I was going on and on about, new computer stuff, parts, better recording, streaming, all this stuff. I ended up getting a processor, which sat on the shelf for 2.5 months, just taunting the crap out of me. All those car problems I had on Thanksgiving kind of wiped out my get new computer stuff fund. You can see shadows. I'm kind of going to move the mouse around if I didn't do it already. The graphics turned up, 1080p, all this stuff is great. So I'm like pointing out the shadows and stuff. What am I talking about now? So yeah, I had the processor back around Thanksgiving. It's been sitting on a shelf taunting the crap out of me since then. I actually kind of dodged a bullet on that one. If it didn't work, I was well beyond any sort of RMA period. I was basically out 250 odd bucks, so that would have sucked. I got lucky, didn't happen. Other than that, all the other stuff is nice. It's in there. It's working more or less. I'm sure I'm going to run into some other problems. All was going well last night. It's like I did the quick channel update, and it's like, oh, you know what? I still have Skyrim on the drive. I'm just going to switch it over to the solid state drive I have now, which is also awesome. Yay for non-existent load screens. And Skyrim's like getting into the intro sequence, like, yeah, oh, sweet, all the graphics are turned up, it looks awesome, and it's like, alright, I don't feel like sitting here. It's like, screw it, I'm going to bed. So I go to bed, get up in the morning, and as it would turn out, I'm getting a boot MGR error, because I never actually set up the partition on the drives correctly, so it was booting into some other hard drives which weren't in there anymore, and it was very complicated. The only downside to this whole upgrade thing for me is I ended up losing 2 hard drives for a total of 600 gigabytes of space. That's going to be inconvenient. I can hopefully work around that. I actually have a 3rd drive disconnected at the moment. I had issues with that. Anytime it writes, it kind of freezes the entire computer, so it's technically dying as well. I'm debating if I'm going to just use it as like an extra emergency backup thing, but the reason I lost the other 2 drives was because they were old IDE cables, and the new motherboard I have doesn't have any because IDE cables are like 2000s era tech. Yeah, that jade chopper turned out it was better. I used an orb of something. Orb of alteration, changed that initial crappy roll. Got a 10% attack speed mod. Used an orb of augmentation, got a physical damage mod, and it ended up adding about 40 DPS to my infernal blow. My audio is still recording. This is so far very good. I shouldn't be talking about it, because if I keep talking about it, it's going to stop working for the hell of it. As to the actual episode, We're gonna do the Fetid pools. I might have said that at the end of the previous episode. I don't know either way. But, Infernal Blow is so freaking awesome. It's just like, you swing and stuff just explodes into bloody pulp. At the time of doing this, I'm like, oh man, this is freaking awesome, not realizing that, yeah, this is like a level 33, 34 zone. I'm level 40 at this point. So when I get into the Fetid pools, which is also a level 40 zone, it's not quite as great, but yeah, it's still just freaking awesome. Infernal Blow even saves my ass at one point. But yeah, back to my buying computer parts story. Had the processor back from like Thanksgiving that could have screwed me over but didn't. And then lucked out with the shipping on everything. Amazon and Newegg, both of them. 2-day shipping ended up being 1-day shipping, which is like just great. Like, yeah, I was planning on doing all this stuff Saturday, and I can do it today instead. Well, that was yesterday now, but whatever, it's not important. All the games up there, 1080p works great. I'm recording this using NVIDIA Shadowplay, which is actually just great. Normally I used Fraps for recording videos. Fraps is a good program. The problem is the files it puts out are huge. About a single episode in 1280p, which was recording in, ended up being about 80 gigabytes for 30 minutes of video. And for 1080p, forget it. I'd be looking at about... for a 30-minute video, probably about 150 to 200 gigabytes. Especially with those two hard drives, I'm saying I don't have the space for that. I almost died there. That would have sucked. So, Shadowplay, it's built into the newer NVIDIA graphics cards. It's like just there, comes included, whatever. It kind of records in the background automatically. And does the rendering as well. So, when I was recording this, I'm watching the video now. It's pretty damn good quality recording. The frame rate's great and all that. It looks good. It actually probably looks better than what I normally recorded. And the file size is great because it's encoding it as it records. So instead of huge gigabytes of files for like a minute video comes out to like 250, 300 megabytes, which is just an insane reduction in the file size. So that's great also, just having that. And in theory, that's what I'm going to be using to record this stuff. So my hard drive issues are basically going to be non-existent until I come across some game that's like, oh, we're not a DirectX game or an OpenGL. We're some crappy Flash game that's all CPU based and the Shadowplay thing doesn't work for it. Sorry, buddy. That's gonna be like, yeah, oh god, this game sucks. Yeah, whatever. And we're gonna cut back to the video for a moment or two. The objective in the Fetid pools is to clear out the entire area. The side areas in zones, especially on Cruel and Merciless difficulty, tend to be a much higher level compared to the zone next to them. Like Mud Flats is like a level 32, 33, 34 zone. Fetid pools is level 40, so it's quite a jump. And you generally don't want to go to it right away. You can, but maybe not so much. Another nice thing about Infernal Blow, the bodies explode if they're killed within a certain time afterwards. So that unique Necromancer dude in here, he can't actually use his Raise Undead ability because there's no corpses. It's like, that's great. I think it's, I did the audio recordings twice. The first time I was actually quite happy with it. I had stuff to talk about, stuff not to talk about. I remember right about now, I stopped talking for like 10 seconds, like, oh, I was thinking about something else. I start streaming. It's like, sometimes like, I'm struggling to talk and provide like interesting stuff for 30 minutes or so of video. If I'm sitting here for hours on end, I have to, just watching me play is going to be kind of interesting to actually make interesting. So, I don't know why. Okay, I was talking about the exploding corpse thing here. I was planning on looking at it like 5 or 6 packs of mobs ago, and I kept getting distracted by it, by more mobs. But yeah. The second recording I was pretty happy about too, until about 10 minutes into it I realized it had cut out altogether, and it's like, again, seriously? So now at this point it's like, I have to record the exact same thing more or less for a third time. Retelling the story, trying to retell it, just, So this is probably the worst of the 3 takes, but at this point, I really don't care. If it gets recorded, that's what we're going with, and, you know, whatever. And I just thought I might not actually be in cardioid setting on the microphone, so I was trying everything to see what the hell's wrong with this. It might still be omnidirectional, so this might sound like complete and utter shit. On the bright side, I'm not actually using the mouse or keyboard, so it's probably not picking up any extra clicks or movements from that. I'm a hand talker though, so my hands are waving all over the place. I haven't smacked the microphone yet. I'm sure I've hit the desk or something a couple times. So for any odd noises, I apologize in advance or after the fact. And it's like I'm sitting here with my hands on the armrests, like, don't move your hands. You're gonna smack the microphone because you talked about it. Back to the video once again, because why not? Yeah, we ran into an Exile with Ray's summoned skeletons. I actually don't know what the hell she uses. It's summoned zombies or skeletons or something. I believe with a skin on it. It could be one of the new anime things also. I just don't know. But in the process of killing her, we actually just about die here. I'm trying to heavy strike her to death. Can't lead slam out for whatever reason. Switch back to Infernal Blow, and just a massive AoE damage shoots my health right back up. I don't know why I didn't use flash charges there to heal myself, but yeah. Sometimes you just have these brain farts where nothing works like you expect it to. And I feel like there was something else I wanted to cover in the course of my spiel, and I'm sure there was more to my hardware story that I'm forgetting to cover. But, I'm gonna remember right after I stop recording, and, or my luck, it'll probably be right after I finish editing everything, and it's like, okay, start rendering, and, oh yeah, I needed to do that, damn it. But, yeah,
A necromancer?
Yeah, we cleared out the fetid pools anyway. There was some stuff on the ground I picked up. I'm not really paying attention, so I'm doing more talking about random crap today. So I apologize for that, too. I was having trouble with the inventory for whatever reason. I kept hitting B to open it up. I've been playing too much Rift. And in Rift,
Still
the
alive,
backpack bags are B, so I had to switch it here.
Still alive,
I actually might have done that a long time ago as well, and just kind of for moving the game to the SSD drive, I didn't, if it's in the app data folder for the settings or something, I didn't move that over with it. But I sell some junk and identify that, figuring, oh, I might get something better, and I end up with wisdom fragments instead of some sort of orb of augmentation or alteration or whatever fragments. Oh well, whatever. And I also start looking for the microtransaction thing here, because the thing on screen came up saying that we have a sale on stash tabs, because I was complaining about it earlier in the episode. All 3 times. Well, not the first time. I think that stuff happened the first time before I actually officially started the episode. So it's like you're getting a minute or two of bonus footage of me ranting and raving about nothing of importance whatsoever. Right side, the audio recording's still going. Yes! This is going to be interesting in a minute or two here, because Shadowplay does split the files up into like 4 GB chunks. And there's the end of the first chunk. So it's going to be a pain in the ass to restart this, so I'm just going to be hitting play on the next video. And the second I do anything, I'm going to say check. Check. There we go. I just clicked the Act 2 button. So now I can sync up this audio portion also, and we're in the southern forest, moving onwards again toward the Forest Encampment. For the first time in cruel difficulty. Again. We did it in normal difficulty, so I don't know. Take it as you will. Call it what you want. I really should have this shrunk again so I can actually keep an eye on the audio. Yes, still going. It really is one of these things when... You know, I got the boot manager thing error this morning when I woke up. It's like, oh, I knew what it was. I still had to do something different to fix it. It took me like half an hour, 45 minutes to fix it. It's something I'd had happen before. I know what it was, so it wasn't a huge deal. When I realized the audio hadn't recorded, though, it was like, oh, okay. No, I didn't hit record. You know, I made sure the audio settings, you know, I had the right microphone selected, the sound levels were okay, and I just never hit record when I went to actually start the episode. So, no, I'll just jump straight into that second recording, do post-commentary. It will be great, happy, wonderful. And then, so many minutes later, it cuts out yet again, and then it goes, oh, no, what's wrong now? It's like, oh, you know, maybe I missed a Windows update, maybe I didn't, you know, so I go check that. Oh, okay, there's a couple Windows updates, go through all those, install, reboot, install again. Get all those done, nothing. And then finally, it's just like poking around the internet, more poking around the internet. And through just sheer luck, I'm at like the end of my rope. Oh, Windows 7 doesn't have USB 3 drivers. Like, oh, I've got a nice huge bank of them. It's amazing my mouse and keyboard, which are also USB plugged into those USB 3 ports, are also working. It's like, sometimes just these things, you just want to... Freaking Microsoft, and they're not including USB 3 support on Windows 7 stuff. Really? The drivers are out there. Intel makes them. Freaking put them in the freaking Windows update thing if someone has the goddamn USB 3 ports in their computer. It's not that hard to do. Because the whole time, my mindset is, oh great, you know, did I smack the microphone and not realize it when I was installing the computer? The case was like a foot away from it. You know, did I do something? Did I knock it? Did I plug it in at the wrong time? You know, did I accidentally wiggle a plug when I checked something? I mean, just so many things going through my head that I ruined the microphone. I'm using a Yeti Pro. It's not exactly a cheap microphone either. It's like, oh great, I don't have another $200 to do it, and my headset sucks ass. I don't want to go back to that crackly, horrible audio. Just, oh man. So yeah, we made it to the Forest Encampment, actually going back to the game that I've been ignoring for 20 minutes. I had a nice little monologue about the monkeys. It was spectacular, let me tell you. My best work ever, and you're never going to get to hear about it. Yeah, we ended up getting that Master of the Arenas for that extra melee range at some point. And right about now, I started talking about how I'm not playing a hardcore character. So I really don't have to go for tons and tons of life nodes. This is going to go slightly beyond the end of the episode, because it's technically over about now. Probably a couple seconds before that. But since it is a not permadeath league, I can actually just kind of do some crazy stuff. Just go all damage or mostly damage. I'll probably pick up a couple more health nodes so I'm not like... You know, if I get in there and I don't get an attack off instantly, I don't want to just die instantly either. But it does open up quite a bit of possibilities, and I can't see my waveform. Again, fingers crossed. Yes, it's still working. Alright, so before you guys are stuck sitting here forever with, looking at a black screen, that's going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Path of Exile. Hopefully there is no more microphone issues for me. I should in theory be having episodes out regularly, as well as just some other random stuff, because I can actually stream and stuff now. I'm going to figure something out with that. Maybe I'll do a live stream of something or other later on today. Perhaps Spelunky. I've had that sitting there since the Steam sales, and I want to play it. But, yeah, before I get off on a tangent again, I apologize for tapping my desk. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, rate, and/or subscribe, and have a great day. And... oh, yeah, never mind. Have a great day.